Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. It's the end of the week. How the hell are you all doing? Welcome into twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. My name is Graham. How are we all doing? I see there's a lot of you in the chat already. Good morning. Hey you. How's it going? That's a nice hoodie you've got there, babe. Is that an exclamation mark insert coin hoodie that you're wearing right there?
Well, Graham, yes, it is. It is. It's Resident Evil 2 hoodie of the RPD department. So
Nice.
yeah, it's very, very comfortable. It's very, very thick. It's freezing this morning. I mean, I don't want to do myself any favors. I'm sat here in shorts. I could just put some pants on. But yeah, the hoodie keeps me warm, Graham.
Beautiful. See, I'm not repping ICU. I am repping ICU, but I'm not repping IC of the insert coin variety today. I've got my PUBG Stay In Frag Out tracksuit set that I won from the PUBG social stuff last year. So yeah. Nice and comfy too. Speaking of PUBG, West, I'll read. I saw you in there nice and early this morning. Good morning. Welcome into the chat. Chucky's there as well. We're falling out with Chucky. He absolutely abandoned us in State of Decay yesterday. Left us hanging to have his own life. How dare he? God's sake.
That's outrageous.
I know. Shocking. Good morning, Chucky. Good morning, Gagad. How's things, dude? I'll read. Put some pants on. You mean trousers, hopefully. Ish. Maybe. Tito, I'll read Northern Lads. And then at some point, no doubt a rip. Yes, exactly. Yes, man, let's go. Hello, up the ICU, stay frosty, and then at some point, no doubt a rip. There will be probably a rip if we jump back into some State of Decay today. Are you playing games today, babe?
Yes, I am, Graham. Yes, I am.
Yes, I am. Does anyone fancy some State of Decay? Do you want to play some games? Play some games? Games on the internet? Games? No games? Okay, fine. We'll play games. Stop going on about it. Good morning, Callum. Good morning, Mr. Garlic Clark as well. Exclamation mark Garlic Clark. If anyone fancies a little bit of fun on a Friday. Exclamation mark Garlic Clark. Fill your boots. I planned on watching your State of Decay stream yesterday, but I fell asleep. Mate. We'll let you off. Good morning, though. Good morning. Mr. T, I heard that you got involved with all of the words last night with Bibi, and that we will be able to hear all of those words of a Resi variety at 12 noon Saturday, youtube.com/Ice Cream Uploads. A brand new, first ever, actually, exclusive podcast just on the YouTube coming on Saturday. Bibi and Mr. T go over all things Resident Evil. So if you want to see that, you want to hear their thoughts and their impressions, then get involved. youtube.com/Ice Cream Uploads, 12 noon Saturday. But before that, if it's thoughts and impressions that you're after, my name is Graham. How you doing? This is Bib. We are Ice Cream Uploads, and in true ice creamy fashion, we are here for The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast. Even if we do say so ourselves, we're going to give you our thoughts and our impressions on the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories from the last 24 hours or so from the world of video games. And there's some good ones, actually. There's some good news today. Let's have a chat about those. But we don't just give you our thoughts and impressions. We want your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions. If you are live with us on Twitch, where we do go live at guaranteed bang on the dot each and every single day, 10 a.m., we go live. Ish. Here we go live.
That's what the emote's there for.
Yeah, we do have an exclusive subscriber remote. We go live at 10 a.m.-ish each and every single weekday. It's 20 past 11, so it's not too far away in the grand scheme of the day-ish. So we go live at 10 a.m.-ish each and every single weekday. If you're live with us in the chat, please do give us your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions as we go. We want to hear from you, and it's important that we do because we turn this live stream into a podcast, a YouTube video, not the one that Bibi's working on, that's separate, but we do turn these into YouTube videos, plus an audio podcast that goes on iTunes and Spotify and SoundCloud and Google Play. So if you are in the chat, please feel free to get involved on behalf of everyone watching and listening on demand afterwards, or maybe watching and listening on demand now. I'm saying afterwards, maybe now is afterwards for you. If it is, then hey, how you doing? If you're on YouTube, hit like. Also, if you're on YouTube, just write penis in the comments. Don't write penis in the comments, but write something in the comments. Talk to us. We'll talk back. We won't bite, honestly. We do. We respond to everyone that chats in there. Before we get involved with today's news, though, exclamation mark giveaway. Do you want to win some free stuff? Well, if you're in this stream, if you're in the stream and you're following this stream, then you're already available to win some stuff. You're already eligible. If you're in the stream, you follow the stream and you sub, that's more entries. If you got Twitter and you follow us there, that's even more entries. So some of the stuff that you're probably already doing will enter you into a competition. Exclamation mark giveaway. We'll give you the details of that in the chat. It's a £50 insert coin clothing voucher. You could buy that hoodie that Bibby is wearing with that £50 voucher. That's all I'm saying. So fill your boots. Yeah. Anyway, let's get into the split screen so we can get into today's news. I mean, we spoke about it previously. E3 is happening this year, albeit digitally. Excited for a digital E3, babe?
I'm glad to see the back of them eventually, because the hype and the excitement about an event like E3 and Gamescom and any other events of that ilk is all about being there. It's about being present. It's about feeling the atmosphere. It's about enjoying the little things with everyone else that's around you. And in a COVID world, some have adapted better than others. However, I can't wait to see the back of them. I can't wait to be able to go to an event again like EGX or so, again of that ilk. Just to be around like-minded people and people who enjoy nice things, rather than being sat at a PC somewhere commentating over the top of them. We've adapted well. We have, as Ice Cream Uploads. We've been doing watch-alongs. We've been trying to get the content that we can rather than being at these events. But there's nothing better than being at an event, is there, Graham?
Not at all. Not at all. Well, we don't get to jump into the physical event for this E3, but we do get to jump in digitally. That's the lead story of today's news, is how exactly that digital event is going to work. But before we jump into that, let's jump back through the comments in the chat so we can catch up before we move on. Also, Bibby, is your internet being used by anything? Because you are very, very pixelated. I just did the speed test and mine looks okay.
Let me have a look, see if anything else is open.
Good morning,
Doesn't
KK.
look like it.
Who says, in this digital age, why are you holding a pen? Because I am digital, but also an old man. So I do most things digitally, but I also have my very digital focused Battlefield 3 notepad that I'm currently working through. So yeah, notes. This is my notes pen. Also, I'm a fidget, so I need something to keep my hands busy when easy tiger when I'm on stream. If not, yeah. So the pen just gives me something to play with, which is why I drop the pen almost every day when I'm on stream. So, yeah, there you go. I can jump into State of Decay today if I'm ever allowed back into Upload here. We may allow you back in today, Chucky. We may. It was a good time. Got to see Bibby looks all suave. Oof. I've never seen Bibby look suave. God. Back in a couple of minutes.
Fresh trim, Bibby.
Yeah. It's either falling asleep before the stream or falling asleep during it, listening to Graham.
Oof.
That's what you want from your mods, isn't it? Nice. Yeah, great.
No Christmas presents for you this year. You're off the list.
I said, I just said evil bastard, but the stream didn't get that. I think I muted it, but didn't actually give them the voice mod stuff. Did you get the voice mod stuff then?
I got it.
Okay, let me try again.
Evil bastard. There we go. It worked that time.
You're welcome. Yeah, I know. Voice mod. I know. Don't use it very often. Super subtle. You can't even tell most of the time. It's fine. Anyway, jump back in. Ish. Bibby looks like.
Sorry about Graham.
Bibby looks like Crichton from Red Dwarf, says Callum. Upper half Twitch, lower half Chatterbait. Hey. Sorry, what were you saying?
Are you going to turn this voice mod off for me, or am I just going to have to listen to you like this all the entire stream?
I don't know about my voice mod. It's off now. This is my normal voice.
Yeah, okay. Get a lozenge in your boy.
All fixed. It's good. See, the people on the stream don't get that. So if I jump into voice mode on the stream, the people I turn it off at the push of a button. I have to remember to push a different button to turn it off for Bibby. If not, I'm talking to you normally, but Bibby's still getting.
Hi, how are you doing? Welcome to twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads.
Or something. Anyway, that's enough. although Bibby got the end again. Anyway, let's jump into some actual news. This is why we're here. This is how E3's virtual event will work. The app will feature virtual booths, avatars, and leaderboards. This has all been put together by Emma Kent at Eurogamer, and the article says, last month we heard that rather unsurprisingly, this year's E3 will be an online-only event due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. We now have an idea of how that's going to work in practice, as the ESA has announced an online portal and app for E3 2021. In a press release, the ESA described the online portal and app as, quote, a key hub for the duration of the show. It will feature hosted events, virtual booths, online forums, video conferencing, and even profile and avatar creation. The exhibitor booths will have special events along with VOD content and articles, and will act as hubs within the portal for key announcements and game information tied to each exhibitor. It gets weirder from here. The app will also have lounges, described as gathering spots for all E3 attendees, along with leaderboards. The leaderboards are apparently gamified show elements that can be collected and displayed, encouraging fans to interact in as many ways as possible. Learning about games is a game now, I suppose. The portal and app will also show the E3 live broadcast, complete with interactive overlays featuring viewer polls and tweets. That makes a change from watching thousands of people demand Elden Ring in Twitch chat, although it's worth noting the broadcast will still air on the usual range of platforms, including E3's YouTube channel, Facebook, Twitter, and Ice Cream uploads as Twitch. Oh no, Twitch in general. It doesn't say Ice Cream uploads as Twitch. I thought it did, but that's an easy mistake to make. As for the content of the broadcast, you can expect major publisher showcases, press conferences, industry panels, extended live streams, and special guest appearances with Alex Golden Boy Mendez, Jackie Jing, and Greg James as hosts. Oh no, it says Greg Miller, not Greg James. That's someone else. I'd made that mistake before. From the moment we decided, this is a quote by the way, from the moment we decided to host E3 virtually, we've been focused on providing an interactive experience for fans around the globe that goes beyond the typical live stream, said ESA President and CEO Stanley Pierre-Louis. Quote, the result is a bespoke online portal and app that will allow fans, media, and industry professionals to have an E3 experience designed to run parallel to the 4-day broadcast, laying the foundation for interactive E3 elements to continue beyond this year's all-virtual show. Media will be given access to the portal a little early, starting on 7th of June, with public access beginning on 12th of June and running until the end of the show on the 15th. The ESA said that registration for access to the online E3 portal will be free, and sign-ups will open later this month. Hopefully, the ESA won't leak everyone's details to the internet this time. Yay! Fingers crossed. E3 2021 already has a fairly decent lineup. We don't need to worry about the lineup. We'll stop there. Actually, no, we'll go through it because it'll just give everyone a summary. If you're new into the E3 conversation, this will give you a summary of what's happened so far. E3 2021 already has a fairly decent lineup of publishers attending the show, including Nintendo, Xbox, Capcom, Ubisoft, Take-Two Interactive in the form of Mr. Asim Tanvir exclusively, Warner Brothers Games, and Koch Media. The Asim Tanvir bit might not have been true. Some publishers have decided to go rogue. However, Konami pulled out of the lineup. EA is hosting its own EA Play event, but now in an entirely separate month, and Sony is once again absent from the list. Still, there are enough publishers attending the show to give us some interesting updates, and I'm feeling pretty ready for some big announcements. Me too, Emma Kent, me too. So, baby, that is how E3's virtual event will work. How does that sound to you?
I mean, the tone of this particular article from Emma Kent, she's a very good writer. We've featured a ton of hers, but I don't think she's very skeptical about how this is all going to play out. I am to an extent, but I think we should give credit to E3 and how they've evolved what we deem this to be a virtual event, because it could have just been, okay, this at 2:00 you're going to have Ubisoft do theirs, at 3:00 you're going to have Take-Two do theirs, at 4:00 you could have a different. What they've kind of done is it's a sign-up thing. So you're going to go to a particular booth, and then you can have many people around you. You can have a chat room where you can speak to them. You have a trophy cabinet of some sorts. Like they've made this event something different than just someone watching it, like we would have been doing as like if we was covering it, like if we was doing a watch along, we would be talking about things as they were happening on the screen. I think this is completely left field. I did not see E3 creating a virtual event like this. I genuinely thought it was just going to be, here's your timetable of all the things that we're going to be showcasing. Pretty much just turn up and watch whichever ones that interest you. There might be some indie games at 1 o'clock, and then you can get what you want to see at 4 o'clock. Do you know what I mean? So a massive props to E3 for trying to create something like this. How this will work is yet to be seen. It could just be an absolute shit show. But I'm going to give them massive props for trying to evolve how we are going to digest a virtual event, because this will be the foundation, I think, in the next couple of years, because not everyone can go to E3, not everyone can go. We keep always mention Gamescom in the same breath, but people can't go to these conventions because they're either too far away, they can't afford it, they just don't want to, because they don't like people. So having this foundation set now will hopefully be a springboard for the next couple of years, and it can evolve to be something else rather than just someone watching it on IGN's YouTube channel. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, sorry. I was listening. I'm just trying to find if there's anything that's causing you to be pixelated, because Enix just said Bibby's more pixelated than Super Mario on the NES, which I don't understand. I don't understand. Literally, I've got no Epic Games, no Steam launcher, no.
Yeah, I haven't.
Origin. Let's do my speed test.
It'd just
again.
be a shitty call.
Could be. Let me just quickly do a speed test. What am I on? 15 ping, which is nice. Then again, I am down at... No, my speed is kind of dropping. I'm down to 23 meg.
Yeah, see, I'm at 55.
Although I am running the video call and the stream. Oh, no, it's up to 30 meg.
Yeah.
I am running the video
It
call.
should be fine.
Yeah, that's bizarre. Okay, do you know what? Let me jump into the cam only. Boop. Hey, how you doing? And then kill that. Just ringing Bibby back. Bibby back. Oh, that's much clearer. Eee. Okay, we'll see if that maintains. What did you say then?
I say probably just a shitty call room.
Although the audio is a little bit R2D2-ish, but seems to be normalizing now. So we'll see. We'll see how we get on. Yeah, it's so jumping back into that E3 virtual event conversation. It is a bit left field. Is that the phrase you said? It does seem a bit.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not convinced. I know, like you mentioned, that Emma Kent seems a bit skeptical in this. Part of me thinks, is that because it's the ESA in general, and the ESA has a bad rep with journalists, and rightly so, because of the leaks that they mentioned in the article, or is that because of the content that and the plans that they have? I think I am a little bit dubious in it myself, in the fact that we've spent obviously a lot of time on Twitch making content and trying to have a nice creative community where we can all share ideas and we can all bounce things off each other. And if there's watch-alongs that you guys want, we can do that content for you and we can build our own spaces for it. But we aren't the only ones that have done that. Loads of content creators have helped develop their own communities of like-minded people where they can all sit and share content together on their channels. And if you don't have those channels and communities that you're invested in, maybe the first parties themselves, you are pixelating again now, but maybe the first parties themselves, like Xbox, or the developers like Ubisoft and so on, they've got their own channels where you can watch the broadcast, or you can watch the E3 broadcast on Twitch. There's plenty of places for people to sit and have these communal discussions. I know that the ESA have said that they want to give you a digital experience and they want to bring something new to the table. From my impression, I've still to form a full opinion on it, but from my first impressions, this doesn't sound like they're bringing something new to the table. This sounds like they're bringing something that already exists to the table, but rather than it being in blue, they're bringing it in pink or whatever. It's exactly the same, but a different color because we made it. Yay! It's like, okay, what's the reason for me sitting in this ESA E3 app to get involved in a community conversation when I already have Twitch channels that will be broadcasting it, that I'm already a paying subscriber for, that I already have exclusive emotes for and history for? It's the Stadia sort of, why play on Stadia when it offers me nothing different than Xbox? Why would I do that? So yeah, I'm not, don't know. What
You
say?
see, hopefully, the way that they can do this is slightly different from what we're going to be getting if we was going to the event. So, for instance, you will have people in a specific community somewhere that may be a partner
Thank you
Twitch
for the
streamer,
ice
or
cream.
maybe a influencer of sorts, or maybe just a super fan that has 200 followers, but the studio know that they are a mega fan. They've been interacting with their tweets for years, so they now have the opportunity to be able to go in and have that kind of exclusive first look at stuff that you would potentially have at E3. Like we got to play. Again, it was probably one of my favorite things at any conference ever when we got to go to Gamescom. And I got to play Daymare before it even came out, and I set the record that day for the fastest playthrough and doing all of the puzzles and stuff like that. That was an experience that I absolutely adored. Not many people got to have that, regardless of whether or not they knew that the game was there. It's just one of those things. So hopefully, with them being able to sign up and the studios have, the publishers have a chance now to be able to interact with super fans, influencers, Twitch partners, YouTube content creators that potentially have never been able to go to these conferences because they are so far away. Now they have that chance to have these one-to-one chats, one-to-one playthroughs. You may be able to use TeamViewer and have access to play these demos and things that maybe we've never seen before. So that is just something that potentially could happen. It's made no indication that that is the kind of thing here. It just says that people can sign up and then potentially have the opportunity to be able to do other things. That may be the way that they can try and bring people at home into the frame, so they're not just watching from afar. You can have the super fan come through and be able to get hands on with the products and speak to the people that they've been speaking to, who run their social media accounts for so long. There was a State of Decay video about 2 weeks ago about one of the community members who sadly passed away, who was a super fan since day one. Like they even made a barbecue place, like a shop in the game named after the person who died, because it wasn't an influencer or anything. He was just a super fan of the game. He got to know the people there. He got to go to these play events and things like that. So it doesn't matter if you've got one follower, 100 followers, 1,000 followers. This could be the kind of event that bridges the gap between all of that and gives the opportunity for people who potentially haven't got the opportunity because of their influence in the community of some sort to get first looks at these kind of games. That's just the kind of things that I would hope that E3 and Gamescom and EGX and all these other events potentially try and pout everybody else.
No, I see. That's what I want. Like you're talking about the being able to log in and play games early, and that's where I want to see E3 thinking. And this is E3. This is run by the ESA. Is it like the Entertainment Software Association? It's something along those lines. Basically, the governing body for technological events. And it goes beyond that, but I'm just using that for this bit. In America. America, one of the most technologically advanced nations in the world. So if you're in charge of entertainment technology in America, then kind of you want to be pushing the envelope. You don't just just making another version of a Twitch chat is not really pushing the envelope for me. How do you get people? What happens at events? You have community gatherings. You have hands-on play tests. You have merch drops. You have all of these different things that you don't see on stage in the Microsoft conference. How do you get that into the event? That's what I want to see. I don't want you to be showing me another version of a Twitch chat again, or a lounge. What's that? A Twitch chat. Oh, okay. All right then. Push it forward. Give me something new. Give me something exciting. That's what I kind of want to see. So yeah, those ways to get involved, be that doing the Steam Summer Game Fest demos are available now kind of thing, and having those linking through into streams and stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff that I want to see people thinking. Media convergence, not just media replication. That's where it is for me. So it's nice that they have gone virtual. It's nice that they are starting to think outside the box. They have a dedicated portal and app, and this is only year one of them trying that. I want to see them advance that, though. Go forward. I mean, it's only year one of them actually delivering it, but last year was also supposed to be the second year of E3 trying to be something better and new. Because obviously, the fact that PlayStation pulled out, not this year, but last year as well, they were already under the cosh last year and saying that they were going to deliver something fresh and better, and then cancelled it. So this is another year on top of that. but it's still a bit, But okay, we'll give you the benefit of the doubt. It's the first time you're trying something new. Evolve on it, and I'll be happy with it. At the moment, it seems nice. We've got something in a COVID-19 pandemic world. Understandable. Is it what I'd expect from something of their might? Not really, but is it what I'd expect from the ESA knowing everything that they've done before? Yeah, absolutely. Nothing's been leaked, so we'll see on that. Anyway, let's jump back through the chat. Jenkins says, that scared the S out of me. I am gone.
Jenkins, get out of here.
Okay, that's it. It's probably gone already, but there you go, Jenkins. You can enjoy that. That's for you. Virtual boobs, says Tito. I'm in. I didn't see that, but maybe it is. Maybe it is. Jason Manford's chubby brother. Who, me? or Bibby? Or someone at E3? I don't know. Chelsea, good morning. How's things? Gary says, the one positive about a digital event, not coming back with conflu. Yeah, exactly. Instead, you just get the different major flu, the flu of all flus at home instead. But, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Bonsai, good morning. Happy Friday, gents. Hey, everyone. Tito says, will the S-Boss box be there? I even balls that up, even though I knew what you were saying. I said S-Box. Fuck's sake. X-Boss box. Bibby's more pixel. I've got that bit. We tried something similar at work recently, and it didn't go down well. It seemed very gimmicky, and most stuff wasn't interacted with. And that's the thing for me. Like, can you see all of those people that are spamming emojis and saying lol, dead, snooze fest, or whatever in the Xbox conference Twitch chat that aren't Xbox fans, that are just Twitch users that love to be trolls? Can you see all of those going out of their way to download the E3 app? No. Can you see a lot of people that would go to E3 watching the conferences? Yeah. Can you see those going and downloading the app and sitting in lounges? No, they're not going to do that. So I agree. It does sound very much gimmicky. A gimmick is a gimmick when it's something that is a bit weird, that is a bit odd. Twitch chat could have been seen as a gimmick, but people have realized that actually, the more you've integrated and used it, it's actually something that could be pretty useful. If you fully understand a Twitch chat and how the theories and dynamics of Twitch chat works, Twitch chat can be very useful. It could also be an absolute thorn in your side if you're a developer and doesn't know what it is, and you just think, yeah, we've made a game, you're going to love it. You should all be thanking us for us giving you the opportunity to see this game. No, okay, Twitch chat will hate you if you don't understand it, but it's not a gimmick anymore. People understand that it's massively useful. It's the voice of the people. Okay, so E3 have gone out of their way to make a voice for the people when the people already have a voice. That's a gimmick. Yeah, but we've called it a lounge. I call it a gimmick. Okay, great. So yeah, what? 55. Really thought you guys would have super speed connections. I literally can't get any faster. My maximum, unless I pay 10 grand or whatever to get a line fitted, 79 meg is my maximum connection. I can't. There is no 300 meg Virgin broadband fiber kind of stuff. And I'm Manchester City Centre. You can see from my house, but I just no. The best virtual event during these weird times was the DC fandom one. Superbly done. This sounds too gimmicky. Trying to turn an in-person event into an online one doesn't translate well for me. And that's it. It's trying to turn an in-person event into an online one. That's the problem. You can't make something offline be online. However, you can find an online alternative that works in an online realm that you can then use to deploy the same sort of messaging. So if you want in community spaces, well, then Twitch chats exist. Discords exist. That stuff exists already on social platforms. If you just want social engagement and interaction, use those platforms. If you want something a bit different, then what do you need it for? Existing social platforms should fill those needs. It's just about how you embed them into your plan. Okay, we want to show off our trailer. Okay, what are you going to do? Are you going to share that on YouTube and then expect people to drop into your Twitch chat? Why not share it specifically on Twitch chat and have your social media build up to that crescendo moment when everyone is there to share it and watch it at the same time, and then put it onto YouTube and stuff afterwards? And it's the simple disconnects like that do it for me. It's like, yeah, but everyone watches our YouTube and we get good stats on YouTube, and it's like, okay, great. is this a YouTube activation or is this an E3 community activation? Which one are you going for? Because you can't do both. You can't go, oh yeah, but we'll make a lounge where everyone links to our YouTube and talks about it in Twitter. No, nah, you don't understand. You've got a lot of online stuff there already. You want to do some of the offline stuff. You can not manipulate, that's an evil word. You can merge that into your online platforms already and do that in an exceptional way that doesn't involve gimmicks. Ice Cream Uploads, aka Bibby, says Shaggy's in the chat. Welcome. 8-bit Bibby.
You know what? I deserve a medal of some sort because I'm having to listen to all this in Graham's Darth Vader voice.
I forgot that this was still turned on. My bad.
I was trying to decipher every single word that you said in a Darth Vader voice. I think I've got most of it.
You did well. You did well. I appreciate you. Chelsea goes to take a seat at the back of the ice cream van. Thank you for lurking. Appreciate all the lurkers. If you're lurking, don't write anything in the chat. You don't have to. We appreciate you. You add to the viewers. You help the channel. It's good. It's good. We appreciate anyone that's here that might lurk, that might drop a follow, like Defy Theo did 24 minutes ago. Thank you very much for the follow. That might drop a host on the channel. Hosts are exceptionally useful. You get more viewers in the chat for us, like DMAC did 11 minutes ago. All those people that do the unthinkable and reach into their pocket and actually donate money into the channel via donations or subscriptions, like Gary Clark did 10 minutes ago when he subbed 2 months in advance. I think that's the first time I've ever seen that in the channel. That shows how good our content is when people are signing up for the content that hasn't been done yet. No, I'll take the ego away. I massively appreciate it though. 2 months in advance at tier 1. That's 8 months sub for Gary Clark. Thank you, Gary. Mr. Garlic, we appreciate you very much. I hope you didn't do that because you said that I was boring and you felt guilty. I mean, if you did, then I've got your money now, so sucker! But no, yeah, no, I appreciate it very much. Senpai, thank you very much for the follow this morning. How are you doing? Good morning. Agreed, the DC one is how it should be done. This, not so much. I mean, let's not be too brutal. I mean, I know it is the ESA, so if anyone should be doing digital content right, it should be them. So that goes without saying. But let's not be too brutal. They're starting to try. Let's give them that. I mean, they tried with a website a couple of years ago and fucked that up. They're starting to try digital stuff. So they're trying. They've got to start somewhere. And the thing with organisations like the ESA, whilst they may be in charge of digital entertainment for an entire nation, the people running it aren't actually making digital entertainment. They're just organisers. So them having to do digital entertainment for the first hand, whilst they're in charge of it, it's not actually that skill set. I know it sounds bizarre and I know it's daft, but basically these people are just beginning. So we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But you've got to get fast quick, because get good quick, should I say, because you are still the ESA. So even though you've not done this stuff before, you have to pick up the pace and make up the slack in no time. You don't get the same sort of freedom as it does for other people to develop. You have to catch up and then move beyond in no time. So yeah, this year might be a bit naff, might not be, but next year you've got to kill it. And we've been saying that for EFE for the last 3 years. So if they don't kill it this year, is this the final year? There's the next year, the final year. So yeah, come on, boys. Iceman says nothing leaked. I guess that would include attendees' personal details. Exactly. Wait, there's an E3 app. There's the docs potential. Exactly. It was like an interactive version of an old school Pokemon game where everyone had avatars and could roam around. It was weird. Interaction was done via video rather than normal chats. I mean, that's the thing, though. A lot of people at events don't even want normal chats. Like, if you've got a trade show, an expo, and you'll walk through a room. Let's forget even the game stuff. Let's say the tech side of things. So you walk through, and then there is controller game. That's what it's this independent developer has made his own sort of like Switch-looking controller thing, and he's got some cool little games and stuff. And then next to that, you've got Energy Slurp, which is this new G Fuel-esque looking energy brand kind of thing, and then next to it, and they're all stood there because they want to give you information about their brands and they want you to talk to them. A lot of people don't even want to talk; they just want to see the logo, read some spiel, and move on. But get involved in conversations because it just happens in passing. Are you all right? Yeah. You having a good show? Yeah, nice. Okay, do you want to try some of this? Oh yeah, go on, nice. And then, but actually clicking to log into a video chat, that's me. That's like when you've got those annoying people with the clipboards in the street. the online environment means that you can avoid that conversation entirely. So if you give a lot of people that were 50-50 for conversations the opportunity to avoid conversation, a lot of people are just going to walk past and go, I've got my avatar. That was a stretch. Video conversation, now you're all right. Thank you. Get out of here. So yeah, a lot of people will just pass it by. 220 for me in the wilderness in Scotland. Bibby wasn't available for the hot tub stream, so they decided to use lounges. That's it. And not only that, I mean, you've got 220 meg connection. We've got like 12 shared. So Bibby's hot tub stream, it will literally be like Minecraft.
I mean, that's probably for the best.
Tino, he said, Bibby, I am your father. Okay, I did that one.
He's definitely going to forget to turn this off again.
Baby, I am your father.
That's where I get my ugly looks from.
And then Bibby goes,
Sorry, Dad.
No! There you go. And this ends Ice Cream Uploads meets Star Wars Episode 1. Well, it's Episode 4-ish, 5-ish. But you know what I mean. Anyway. Enough of that. You're not boring, G. I never said that. You said that. I just said I was tired. Touche. Nice recovery. I appreciate it. I also appreciate the 8 months with 2 months in advance as well, dude. Very, very much appreciate it. Thank you very much. Okay, let's move forward. E3's virtual event details have been detailed. You know what I meant. So the details have been detailed, funnily enough. That's how they work. Could be a bit hit and miss. One thing is for sure. If the app is a bit naff, if the portal is a bit pants, you can be guaranteed to get all of the latest updates here on Ice Cream Uploads, because we will do some watch-alongs. We will do the scoop after every day anyway. So whatever happens on Monday, you will find about it 10 a.m.-ish on Tuesday. And Tuesday, you'll find it at 10 a.m.-ish on Wednesday. So we'll keep you in the loop. Even if the apps are pants, our content is probably a little bit less pants. Yeah, how's about that for a selling point? Probably a bit less pants than E3. Ice Cream Uploads!
Double material, that.
There you go. Okay, let's move into the next bit of news then. So we've heard from a lot of the brands in the games industry. We've had PlayStation, Microsoft, and a few developers, publishers giving their thoughts on how they're going to expand, how they're going to plan for the future. Well, now it's time to hear from the little guns as EA promises next-gen innovation and expansion. Little guns was a bit a joke banner, by the way. Obviously sarcasm, you get it. But anyway, EA promises next-gen innovation and expansion on all future sports titles. This is written by RAUL VELASQUEZ, who has one of the coolest names in the world at the gamer. How cool is that? RAUL VELASQUEZ. Anyway, after last year...
Raul!
Oh, that's it. It's happening. RAUL! And we're back in the room. Okay. EA promises next-gen innovation and expansion on all future sports titles. After last year had to account for PS4 and Xbox One, EA has vowed to take its games to next-gen for the new 2021-2022 entries. Ooh, we are actually getting next-gen games on the next-gen. Imagine that. So after a fiscal year, I know, it's crazy. After a fiscal year that saw the release of a new console generation, EA has vowed to take its games to next-gen for the new 2021-2022 entries that will start launching later this year. EA's grasp on the sporting world has been something gamers all over the world have grown used to, and that meant those lucky enough to get their hands on a PS5 or Xbox Series X had to stick with whatever ports EA brought from the last generation, meaning that just like on PC, there were very few noticeable upgrades that they could enjoy. This is something Konami, one of EA's few competitors, tried to remedy by marketing eFootball PES 2021 as a season update priced halfway off before the games are properly reworked to take advantage of newer hardware for PES 2022. Do you know, that's something I feel a lot of people forget at this point, that PES was half price from day one. I think the fact that a lot of people like get it for free, or the price drops faster than FIFA. I think that's something that people forget. I mean, obviously, the proof will only be in the pudding for a lot of people for the next game anyway as to whether it was worth it. But see, that, as this article's pointed it out so early on, that is quite a commendable thing. EA on the other hand, didn't they? Just give you the same thing, same, but different. But anyway, during the company's 2021 fiscal year earning call, EA executives made clear that all games in its sports lineup will be designed for next-gen console platforms. A list that includes FIFA 22, Madden 22, NHL 22, and the returning EA Sports PGA Tour, as well as new acquisitions from other studios like F1 2021, which came bundled with Codemaster software. These efforts will also include Super Mega Baseball from Metalhead Software and MLB Tap Sports on mobile, although baseball is one field on which EA has clearly lost to MLB The Show's fully licensed teams. On a more worrying... Okay, I'm assuming that's supposed to say notes. On a more worrying note for sports games players, EA did highlight a shift in the consumption of sports move from linear to interactive, which could signal the company's intent to double down on its already aggressive marketing of loot boxes in FIFA 21, which now overshadows actual game sales that accounted for only 26% of EA's revenue. At least on the bright side of things, the idea behind massive innovation and expansion promises that the next wave of sports games from EA could definitely bring more meaningful upgrades in terms of gameplay. Sports titles remain a species of their own within the gaming world. Gone are the days in the early 2000s when competition brought the best out of each other's company offering, as exclusive licensing deals now allow 2K Games and EA to release products that, for all intents and purposes, have no direct competitors whatsoever. One franchise, again not mentioned by EA, was Fight Night, the company's glorified boxing games that are now getting indie competition, partly because those licensing agreements tend to be negotiated individually with each boxer or their promoters. EA is not the only company currently guilty of deploying a potentially dubious next-gen strategy to mark the transition to PS5 and Xbox Series X, as digital buyers already got the worst end of the free next-gen upgrades. Maybe 2022 might be the year when the PS5 stock and game releases get back to normal. But EA, in summary, is promising next-gen innovation and expansion on its sports titles. Proper next-gen games. What are your thoughts on that, babe?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like with any next-gen game, it's very difficult to see how far they can bring through new engines and new capabilities and new directions of sports games straight off the bat. Like Madden 22, for instance, NHL 22, EGA Sports, PGA Tour. Don't forget that they're bringing out a college football game as well as FIFA, F1, and then these other mobile games. That's a lot of games to try and churn out in. I don't know how much time they've had to be able to have these. So it's very difficult for EA to say that they're going to have a next-gen experience, but when? It's the same with all games across the board at this moment in time. It's very difficult for them to say, okay, a next-gen game is going to be coming, regardless of whether or not it's a sports game or a first-person game or a third-person action-adventure or a platformer game. To try and get the best out of a next-gen console is very difficult this early. We usually see very, very good games towards the end of a console cycle, but whether or not it's performance, the balance between performance and high resolution, high fidelity, high whatever the fuck insert technical jargon here to try and get the best out of these consoles usually comes towards the end of a life cycle. So we are going to be getting very pretty games. We're going to get in very put together games, very good put together games. But what point? I can't see any game, regardless of what it is, being the best that they could possibly be for at least another 2 years. Sports game, non-sports game, it doesn't matter.
Let me just kill my Outlook. It's still open, making blizzling noises. Is this? I mean, it's easy to get critical when it's EA because they make money for days, which obviously instantly makes you an enemy kind of thing. But is it a bit cake and eat it? We want next gen. We want next gen games. We want all the joys and the benefits that come with getting the new engine pushed up to full capacity. The engine, I didn't mean the in-game engine, I just meant the engine of a metaphor from a car. We've got a brand new engine in the car, the vehicle, the PS5 or the Xbox Series X. We want to put our foot down and get it full speed. But we also want to not sacrifice all the other people that want to be playing the game as well. The majority of people will still be playing on the last gen because of stock for more than anything, but not just the stock, because there's 120 million PS4 users. Even if PS5 could sell as many as it wanted to at this point in time, it wouldn't have sold 120 million. So the majority of people are still there. So is it a bit unfair on developers? I mean, let's leave EA out of this question because that's an easy one to dislike. A lot of people are happy to dislike EA, but say Naughty Dog wanted to make a game. And I mean, we did see it from Naughty Dog. The Last of Us came out at the end of a cycle for PS4 and probably PS5. The Last of Us Part 2, that is. The same with the previous Last of Us came out of the PS3. It's coming out on the PS4. And is it coming out for the PS5 again as well or something like that? So,
Yeah, it will be making an appearance. We can guarantee it'll be a bundle, won't it?
So they aren't making specifically next-gen games, but then they're remastering for the next gen afterwards. It's a difficult thing for industries. I know that like EA obviously make money hand over fist, and only 26% of their revenue comes from game sales. It all comes from in-game transactions. But is it harsh to want full next gen games? Because effectively, what that does is doubles the development needed. So be it EA, be it 2K games that are mentioned in this as well. If we want FIFA, then okay, well they will rework FIFA 21 into FIFA 22. Jobs are good and boom. But then if we want next gen, that's a whole separate team working simultaneously. Is it too much of are we expecting too much of developers to give us fully next gen at the start of next gen? Or is that something that should be expected? If I'm buying into next gen and you're releasing a game for the next gen, then why is it not the next gen?
I think it's very difficult because they're going to have so many different SKUs of this game or any game. If they're trying to cater for different generations, it's very difficult because you can't put all of your efforts in trying to make this the best it could possibly be. You'll have a team of maybe at a stretch 60 people trying to work at it, and then they may get segregated 20-40. So 40 will be working on the next gen, and then 20 will be working on either trying to port it or trying to take stuff off it to try and make it work again on the PlayStation 4. It's very difficult to try and have that many SKUs going at the same time to try and make it as good as it possibly can be. I don't think they won't have I think FIFA and PES had a PlayStation 2 version of the game up until 2014. That blows my mind. They had 3 different versions of that game, so they'd have the Xbox 360 or PS3, and then they would have had the PlayStation 2 versions as well coming out at the same time. So Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2. That's a lot of work to be done. I know most of them was legacy upgrades, so it just would have been transfers and kits that would have been sorted out. But still, that's someone has to look after that stuff. So it's difficult to try and make a fully next gen game when you're still looking after the other player base. But why would you disregard, at least in PlayStation circumstances, 120 million people who have got access to that console? It makes no business sense whatsoever for them to be able to do that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I do like the fact that we do have the sound bite, though. We have the confirmation that we are getting, and as the way I've put it in quote marks in the chat is our quote, not EA's quote, by the way. I said in the chat on the discussing now. EA promises proper next gen, and that's you get an upgraded version of FIFA. You will get next gen FIFA the next time. You won't get an update that comes out in December or January or whenever it came out that gives you the upgrades to give you the next gen ball physics. The ball goes whoomp whoomp as you kick it. Your hair moves a little bit. I mean, that's cool. But is that next gen? I mean, those are nice additions. They are next gen features, but that's entirely what the next generation is. a wobbly ball? No, thank you. It's okay. I'll pass. But it's nice that they're committing to giving us next gen now. I do agree with Iceman though. Doubling down on loot boxes. Q Vader voice. No, exactly. And that's this paragraph. On a more worrying, and it doesn't say note, but I added it in. On a more worrying note for sports games players, EA did highlight a shift in, quote, the consumption of sports move from linear to interactive, end quote, which could signal the company's intent to double down on its already aggressive marketing of loot boxes in FIFA 21, which now overshadows actual game sales that accounted for only 26% of EA's revenue. 26% of their revenue comes from selling games. So unless there's something else in there, that's 74% of game sales. Game revenue comes from in-game microtransactions. as mentioned, microtransactions are not evil, but the way that microtransactions are deployed could be evil. It's like the Pokemon quote: you don't get bad Pokemon, only bad trainers. You don't get bad microtransactions, just bad marketing decisions behind it. Bad marketers. There you go. That's what it is. Microtransactions are just a way for you to spend money on your. Fuck's sake, Graham. That was your cue to use the beta voice. I know it was. I just didn't want to buy it because that's what I'm going to be doing all day on the State of Decay stream. But for the scoop, I just don't want to use my over gimmicking. I don't want to be E3. I don't want to be the ESA and just turn it into gimmicks. I want to be useful. So.
No! You're welcome. My bad.
Okay, back to normal. So yeah, I mean, that is the worrying thing for me. Is that wording of it as well? That's absolutely. I don't know if it is an investor's call quote, but it sounds like an investor's call quote. It's basically saying we're not going to do the story modes. We're going to do the modes that generate cash. That's kind of what that line reads as to me. I don't know the context. I could be completely wrong, but that's what I get. So the consumption of sports move from linear to interactive, which is get rid of the story modes, get us the modes that give us the cash. That's what it sounds like to me. Could be wrong, and I'm happy to be proven wrong if anyone does have the data on that or where that comes from. But yeah, give me next-gen games I am excited about. Give me next-gen microtransaction heavy games, then that's not what I want from sports games. I don't speak for everyone. If 74% of the business's revenue comes from in-game marketing, then I'm clearly not the majority player of that game. There's a lot of people out there that clearly are happy to just continue playing Ultimate Teams and putting into loot box mechanics and stuff like that. There's a lot of people that are forced into that as well, no doubt, but I don't speak for everyone, and I know I don't, but I will speak for myself and say that I do not want. I want more sports linear games. Give me a Fight Night story mode, a FIFA career mode, a PGA campaign mode, or whatever. That's the kind of stuff that I'd be more interested in. But anyway, us sport video games fan get screwed over the most. We're the most loyal bunches. We buy essentially the same game every year, so we should be rewarded for it. Will it happen? Doubtful, says Gary Clark in the chat. It's a bit judgmental, standoffish, mate, but very true, very true. We'll see, though. I mean, it is difficult. It is difficult because there is catch-22. Don't get me wrong. Having a good sports game from a developer/publisher is one of the most profit-making things that you could do. I mean, look at EA. Look at how much money they make every day from Ultimate Team. If you have a game that you have to release content for every single day, every single week, every single month, every year, revitalizing the game every year, that's not taking it too far away from what exists because people are happy. People want something new, but also the same. You have to get the balance of stuff. So don't get me wrong, it's difficult for developers to achieve not only monumental changes in 9 months, and that 9 months is the key thing as well, is like, you can't half develop your next game in 9 months and save it, but then drop it in the next one because the world changes it in 12 months. What you were aiming for in your 3-year plan, your 2-year plan, your 5-year plan, your 10-year plan, whatever it is, if it's a 2-year plan, halfway through it, the world might change. And like Battle Royale probably changed Call of Duty and Battlefield's plans for the future because PUBG and Fortnite came out and they went, fuck, let's have a piece of that pie. But Warzone wasn't even in their 5-year plan at that point in time, and now that is their 5-year plan. So it's difficult. Yeah. It absolutely is difficult for sports games to satisfy the needs and switch development and trying to develop stuff in such a short turnaround. But like you say, when there's that much profit to be generated from that, surely there's more that could be done. Is that bringing in bigger teams? I don't know. Maybe it is. That doesn't answer all questions because there's all sorts of issues that comes with expanding your teams. You need to get people trained and you need to embed them. And there's different teams working on different things. Should they go to the 3-studio setup like Raven Software, Sledgehammer, and Infinity Ward? Should they have EA Montreal, EA Quebec, and EA Salford? Naturally, obviously, because that's the other Canadian city. Should they make different games each year? Possibly. But yeah, I agree. Sports fans do get a lot of rinse and repeat, which is why when it comes to the Game Awards and things like that, the mainstream video game journalists, like Greg James from Radio 1 / Kinda Funny, Greg Miller, by the way, like those guys, they will quite quickly gloss over sports games because it doesn't change, and it always feels a bit like a personal stab to the heart to me, because I've grown up playing sports games all of my life, as well as other games, obviously. But it's the way that the games industry kind of disregards sports games and disregards first-person shooters because it's same but different. It kind of feel like, yeah, but I spend so much time in these games. Don't just ignore what I'm interested in. But it makes sense because they don't evolve as quick as the rest of the industry, and sports games and sports games fans and FPS fans have to kind of shoulder that in terms of the game you get next year. Yeah, it's got to be like this year, but a different color. It's pink. It's like E3's. Okay, E3 and EA, the same thing. Oh my god. Anyway, let's move ahead. Let's put a pin in that one. Do you know what isn't the same? Well, it's quite a long way away from playing EA games, actually, is Sega Games, because EA, whilst they're trying to think of all the new futuristic ways to take the money off you, Sega are looking back towards the past, or at least they are in this article. Sean Murray at The Gamer says, Crazy Taxi, Jet Set Radio, and Space Channel 5 all might return as Sega considers reboots. So Sega might be bringing back a bunch of dormant franchises, including Crazy Taxi, Jet Set Radio, Altered Beast, and more. So Sega Sammy, the holding company that includes Sega, just released its financial results for the fiscal year ending March 2021. It wasn't a super great report for investors, since although Sega Sammy finished in the black, it still lost a ton of money on its pachinko, resort, and arcade businesses. Sega's video games, however, are doing just fine. Even with half its release schedule cut, Sega expects the next fiscal year to be way more profitable for them than the last one, and Sega has plans for ensuring that profitability that involves some of its classic game franchises. Buried deep in the fiscal year presentation is a slide titled Utilization of IP Assets, which lists its currently active intellectual properties, which are Yakuza, Phantasy Star, Sonic, etc., and its inactive or dormant IPs. They include Crazy Taxi, Jet Set Radio, Shinobi, Virtua Fighter, Altered Beast, Streets of Rage, Space Channel 5, and more. Sega lists 3 options for making money on its old franchises, including remaster, remake, and reboot. The Japanese publisher doesn't say which franchise will get which treatment, but it did say that all of them are under examination of which IP to utilize. For some reason, Sega lists Streets of Rage as dormant, despite the highly successful Streets of Rage, which was played through in its entirety here on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads, which you should definitely play. There was also the recent Panzer Dragoon remake, and Panzer Dragoon 2 has just been confirmed as receiving its own remake. In the same presentation, Sega also mentions the creation of some sort of super game by the year 2025-2026. This game would be a first-person shooter developed by an unnamed European studio, which may or may not be Creative Assembly. The idea would be to make a live service title that accrues 100 billion yen in lifetime sales from a global audience, following in the footsteps of Yakuza Like a Dragon's global release. Sega isn't the only one releasing upcoming game details. Ubisoft just announced its plans for the next fiscal year, including the launch of Far Cry 6, Rainbow Six Quarantine, and The Division Heartland, but that's enough of that. Crazy Taxi, Jet Set Radio, Space Channel 5, Altered Beast, all of the other games in the Sega back catalogue, remastered, remade, rebooted, all of the above, some of the above, we don't know. What are your thoughts on that, Bib?
Yeah, I think all of the above. We recently played Streets of Rage 4 on this channel, and it was a hella good time. I thought the Streets of Rage timeline would have been gone by now. I didn't think people would probably the only people that are playing Streets of Rage now, I don't think they've got a brand new audience. Forgive me if I'm wrong. The people who played Streets of Rage 4 were probably people who grew up playing Streets of Rage and knew what they was going to expect. Side-scrolling fighting games. A new way forward for these. Have they got a second lease of life? Because if they do, then releasing things like Altered Beast would be fantastic. I loved Altered Beast. That was one of my favorite Mega Drive games ever. It was so fucked up and weird. But has it got a place in the future? Are people going to be clamoring to be able to play an Altered Beast game? Now, I'm not too sure. Crazy Taxi again, which I don't know how well that new Taxi game did. That was just a basic clone of Crazy Taxi. I don't know how well that did. It will the new Crazy Taxi
Did it
game
have like some knockoff
well?
name as well? It sounded like Poundland Wally in naming conventions. So like rather than RoboCop,
Taxi Chaos or
Robert
something
Cop,
like
Mental Uber or something like that. Yeah, that's what it was.
It
Yeah.
might be like Chaos Taxi or something along those lines. It was whatever. We're getting a new House of the Dead game. Well, a remaster at least. So they're covering all bases, but the pachinko machines aren't going to do that well, are they? Let's be honest, the last 12 months at least, maybe 13, 14 months have just been terrible for them because no one's been able to use them. So clearly they're not going to make that much money. They would have been doing really well. Always going to sell. Sonic, always going to sell. So trying to bring some of these old IPs back from the dead, no pun intended, is the right move, but to what audience? Because you can't expect that you're probably going to sell millions and millions and millions of copies of these games to new audiences. The people who are going to be picking it up are probably going to be the old school that have an affinity with this IP from 25 to 30 years ago. So is it a risk? We'll find out when they bring out a new House of the Dead game. I think that's good. I think that's probably a good starting point because it's one of the best all-time arcade shooters. And if it has anywhere, if it's going to be homed anywhere, it's definitely going to be on the Nintendo Switch, providing you can use the
VR.
Joy-Cons as a gun. Yeah, a VR, any kind of VR peripheral, that would be fantastic as well. But yeah, like Virtual Fighter as the fighting game scene, it's glory days. I know that's kind of blasphemy for the Street Fighter community or any kind of other fighting game that kind of evades me because I have no interest in them. Tekken's probably had its day. But yeah, like I'm not too sure if they're gonna reboot these. It's gonna cost them a lot of money. Are they going to get it back? That's the biggest point. Because if not, they're going to have to lay these with microtransactions. Like playing House of the Dead and you run out of coins, do you have to put your own money back in to have the coins back in again? Like how are they going to do it?
I mean, that's the thing is you can remake some things from the past and absolutely capture the magic, but take it to somewhere new. You can remake things from the past and just capture the magic in a way that doesn't really speak to new audiences, but satisfy the old audiences. And you can remake things from the past, trying to capture the audience and speak to a new audience, but doing neither. And it's all of one of those things. It's all about deployment. If they released Crazy Taxi or Taxi Chaos or whatever they called it now, that knockoff kind of version game, if they release that, I do not see that selling very well. I loved Crazy Taxi back in the day, but I wouldn't be asked with playing it now. Because video games have moved on. I mean, Gary says the issue Sega will have with the arcade style games is that when they were originally released on console, they were at the top of what people wanted to play. Now, not so much as gamers' habits have changed. Exactly. Luke, good morning, Luke. He says Sega's super game best be Binary Domain 2 or else I'll riot. You're probably going to be writing. It's probably how it's going to go. Gary does say, I loved Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio. Sega love going back to their old titles. I'm half expecting the head of Sega walking into his office dressed as one of the Backstreet Boys while listening to the music on his portable CD player. Yeah, but walking very steadily, like a royal, like gliding, because if he walks with a bit of a bounce in his step, his CD is going to be skipping, and it's not about that. Even if you get one of those non-skip CD players, it's still going to skip. But yeah, looking at the list of games that they've got, examples of past IPs, Crazy Taxi, we mentioned Shinobi, which, I mean, a lot of people probably don't know what that is. A lot of people probably do know what that is. But Shinobi's not spoken about in the same sort of reverence as Streets of Rage anymore because it's been dormant. Streets of Rage has had a little bit of revitalization through many different forms, be that merch, be that mobile games, be that Streets of Rage 4. So some of these games will pass people by and they won't even know what they are, but like that's kind of a good thing, really, in terms of Shinobi. I mean, you could see Shinobi being something completely different. Obviously, side-scroller, it could be. They can go full-on Streets of Rage 4 and give us a side-scroller thing. Are they trying to then carve out a niche for people? Because, I mean, obviously they are gone in terms of that niche isn't what people want primarily, but there is a large audience of older gamers now that don't get side-scroller games that would probably like that. Are Sega happy having 100% of a smaller audience? Maybe they are. Maybe they do give us Shinobi. Or maybe we get Shinobi that they start to take a leaf out of Ghost of Tsushima's book. Maybe they go, okay, this Japanese samurai story has done very well. Maybe we go for the ninja story instead, and maybe we make Shinobi into tactical espionage action. Shinobi, Metal Gear Shinobi kind of stuff. Siphon Phenobe. Yeah, so like if they start to go down that sort of angle, I could see them using the IP, but it won't satisfy, I think, the old guard doing that, because people that saw Shinobi want, like I say, side scrollers. They don't want 3D over the shoulder, third person perspective games. But that's kind of where it's Sega, if they want to truly give modern spins on games, that's where they need to be going. Obviously, they mentioned a super game. I don't know if I can find that bit. There you go. The super game, that a live service title that accrues 100 billion yen in lifetime sales from a global audience, following in the footsteps of Yakuza Like a Dragon's global release. Then that's where they need to go. Those big, modern, forward-thinking elements. And you could do a Streets of Rage kind of game. Imagine Streets of Rage, third person over the shoulder, fucking kind of brawler kind of stuff, like Back for Blood element, but Streets of Rage. So like, there's a lot they could do, but I don't know. It seems like I don't know. I like the idea of these being redone. My usual angle is, if something is so brand and time specific, it's hard to bring it into a different time frame. Duke Nukem, exceptional in the past. The most recent Duke Nukem, I mean, I didn't play it, but from what I can gather, it didn't go down very well. It was kind of like, it wasn't. It's not the same.
Yeah, it's kind of at its day kind of thing. But I mean, the reason why the Dreamcast did so well is because it was the closest representation of an arcade cabinet. You have games like, sorry if you can hear that my cat's trying to get in again. You can just hear the door, the fucking door handle go. Anyway, the Dreamcast was such a good arcade representation of games. So you had things like Virtual Striker and House of the Dead and Sega Bass Fishing and the games like that you'd expect, Jet Set Radio. All these games you'd expect to see in an arcade, and they played so well on the Dreamcast. That's what made these games so good. Are they gonna try and recapture those games again? Probably not. I can't see it. It's very difficult.
I think for me, they need to move away from that, because if they want to be seen, oh, we got a cat. Oh, hey,
no, it's a man for opening the door.
I was going to say, this cat's opened the door. This is incredible scenes. I don't know if it had shown up on the on your screen or not, but I could see it. I don't know if it's cropped.
Coco used to be able to open the door at the old house because they're so dainty, the handles. You just put a hand on it and the door would open. But these ones are a lot more robust.
Let me in. Let me in. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's it. Like, if they start going down the gimmicky sort of arcadey stuff, arcade stuff is fun. But that's because it's social gaming. You're in the arcade. You've got mates around you. You're exerting yourself, trying to get the perfect fishing lob kind of stuff. I want it. I get that. But that at home, even with a headset on talking to your mates, it's just not the same. And people will realise it's a gimmick. I mean, that's where, like, the transition from the Wii to the Switch can do gimmicky stuff, but they don't rely on it. It's also, if you strip it back, it's also a pretty snazzy, sleek machine that can just. I mean, even what's the one where the controllers don't come off the sides, the Switch Lite or whatever it was called. That just goes, okay, we know we can do gimmicky games, but we also can just have a nice, sleek controller, all built in, and you can just play games. And I think Sega, if they want to do it, they need to lean less on the gimmicks and do more into the different stories. Like there, Chucky's comment, Shinobi in the style of Tenchu would be immense. Fucking yes, please. Yes, please. And just as a Tenchu, Sencho follows. Welcome into the stream. Thank you very much for the follow, Sencho. Welcome in. We are almost wrapping up, but it's good to have you here anyway. And you take us to within 50 followers now of 2,500 on Twitch. So if anyone else is lurking and thinks, do you know what, it's not a bad show this, I will drop a follow, then feel free to drop a follow. It's free, it doesn't cost you any pennies. And you do push us closer to 2,500. But yeah, Shinobi in the style of Tenchu. That's exactly the kind of thing that I'd like to see them do. If Sega do want to get back into making more games using their legacy IP, then do it. Take the name and the theory, but apply that to a real world sort of concept. Don't just give us the same, but modern, same, but shiny. It's not gonna fly.
Yeah.
But that is that. Anyway, let's wrap things up. We have one news story, and well, the same way we close out every week. We tend to try close out with the same sort of vibe, the same sort of fashion. How would you encapsulate that in 2/3 if it's hyphenated words, babe?
Free Game Friday.
Yeah, there you go. Free Game Friday. So we tend to tell you about free games as they go through the week. It just so happens that Friday tends to be the game where you get some guaranteed nailed on free games. And it's usually because of Epic Games Store. Epic Games gives you free games usually every Thursday evening. So for us in the UK, we can tell you on Friday morning. However, it's not Epic Games this week. This week's news article from Tom Ivan at VGC says PlayStation's Play at Home 2021 is to end with free in-game content or virtual currency for 10 games, and that includes Warzone, Rocket League, Brawlhalla, MLB The Show 21, and NBA 2K21. So Sony Interactive Entertainment will conclude 2021's Play at Home offers by giving away a range of in-game items and virtual currency for a selection of PlayStation titles. The 10 games included in the promotion are Rocket League Brawlhalla, Destruction All-Stars, MLB The Show 21, NBA 2K21, Rogue Company, World of Tanks, World of Warships, Warframe, and Call of Duty Warzone. The following will be available free via PlayStation Store from May the 17th at 8 p.m. PDT, which is May the 18th at 4 a.m. for us in the UK, until June the 6th or June the 7th, 8 a.m. for us in the UK. So I'll go over those numbers again, those dates again. So it will be available from May the 18th early doors to June the 7th early doors for us in the UK. Rocket League, you'll get a PlayStation Plus pack, which includes 4 unique customization items, including Blue Notch wheels, Blue Smoke Boost, Blue Rock Trails, and the Tri-Impact BL player banner. Basically, PlayStation Blue stuff. Brawlhalla will give you the Play at Home pack, which includes Rayman Legend Unlock, Sir Ray-a-Lot skin with axe and gauntlet weapon skins, a Shrug emote, and a Grim sidekick. Do you know what? I'm gonna start skipping over these. I'll pick out main ones, just the ones that we may be playing or other people around us. So Destruction All-Star stuff. MLB The Show for Chucky. He will get MLB The Show 21, 10 The Show packs. NBA 2K21 Play at Home packs, including My Team Series, Amethyst, Damian Lillard, 5,000 My Team points and more. There's some Rogue Company stuff, but it's not the Doc skin, so get out of here. World of Tanks and World of Warship stuff. Plus Warframe stuff. Where's the Warzone stuff? I can't. Oh, there you go. 5 60-minute double XP tokens for Call of Duty Warzone will also be accessible exclusively in-game through the message of the day from May the 20th at 10 a.m. PDT or 6 p.m. BST until June the 7th, same time. So Play at Home was revealed in April 2020 when Sony said it had been designed to promote social distancing and aid indie game developers impacted by the coronavirus pandemic. But we'll stop there. Actually, before we stop, as part of Play at Home 2021, PlayStation owners were previously able to download Ratchet & Clank and 10 PS4 indie games and PS4 titles free of charge. Today is also the last chance to download Horizon Zero Dawn for free. So if you haven't done that, it is today. So make sure you get Horizon Zero Dawn for free on your PlayStation. Do it. Do you know, I think I may have missed the Ratchet & Clank, actually, which is a bit of a shame. I think I might not have downloaded it. Despite having this show every Friday to tell you to make sure you download the free game, I think I may have missed it. Fuck's sake.
I think it's still part of the PlayStation 5 collection anyway, so you should be sweet.
Oh, okay, there you go. Nice. The Play at Home scheme has been pretty sweet, says Chucky. It has. It's been really good. I mean, I know a lot of people are dubious as to, it's old games and this, that, and the other, and whatever. It's free stuff. For whatever the reasons, it's free stuff. Also, free to get on Steam at the moment, the Dream Machine 1 and 2. I don't know what the Dream Machine is. Let's have a look.
Yeah, I've never seen it. I heard of it.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, 100% free.
100% on the Dream Machine. Is it a horror game? Oh, very positive.
Let's bring this on the screen. See that? Sencho drops in the chat and Absolute drops in with a free game Friday mindset. So this is Dream Machine Chapter 1 and 2, 100% off. Save yourself a nice £2.79 on the games on Steam. So all you need is a Steam account. Get that done. Nice.
Did you work on the Dream Machine?
I mean, if you did, that's fine. If you did work on the Dream, if you work on any game and it's going free, then feel free to tell us. As long as it's a nice natural saving for people in our community, then we don't mind sharing the love. So yeah. If you didn't, then also congrats and thank you very much, said Joe. So there you go. The play at home scheme is finishing up, but if you haven't done it already, Horizon Zero Dawn finishes today. I did not. Well, there you go. Thank you for sharing anyway. Appreciate it. Horizon Zero Dawn is free today, and today only goes after that, so make sure you grab it. And whilst you're at it, if you're on your PC, in browser, on the Steam app, however you want to do it, get yourself the Dream Machine Chapter 1 2, £2.70. I'm going to add that to my account right now. Yoink! I won't, actually, because I'll open up Steam and it'll start downloading everything.
I'm just doing the same thing now.
I was going to do it, but then I realised it'll churn my internet to death, so I'll do it after the stream. But that is the end of the stream, though. Thank you, everyone that has joined us across the course of the show. Let me give you a reminder of what we spoke about. We opened the show with how E3's virtual event will work this year. So it is happening, albeit digitally, and it sounds a bit, I'm not sure. I mean, whether their app and their portal that they've designed for attendees to attend virtually will be great or not. It might be a bit gimmicky. If it is a bit gimmicky, don't worry about that. We'll have you covered with all the content here on Twitch and with videos on YouTube, no doubt, as well, made out of our podcast. But as well as that, EA promised next-gen games, proper next-gen games this time. Sega is looking at last-gen and before games, though, and looking at making those next-gen too, as it considers rebooting its old catalogue. And then finally, we looked at the PlayStation Play at Home free game content, as well as, I've forgotten its name already. What was it called? Scroll back up. The Dream Machine 1 and 2, Chapter 1 and 2 from Sencho in the chat. Thank you very much for that, Sencho. Welcome in. Appreciate the input. And that is the end of the show. We are done for this week, in terms of scoop anyway. So we will drop off. We are coming back on with some State of Decay playthrough in a next 20, 30 minutes or so, like we usually do. We'll go off. We'll get food and drinks and stuff. We'll get reset. We'll jump back on. We'll play some games. You guys can potentially join us, and it'll all be good. But for the scoop, that's it for this week. We will be back next week with that. Before all that happens, though, Mr. Bibb, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yes. Again, thank you very much to each and every one of you that have joined us for the episodes this week. 5 episodes for you to be able to catch up on demand if you haven't already done so. But yeah, if you want to help shape our show and get involved, then do exactly what Gary's already done in the chat. Follow all of our socials. It's at Ice Cream Wattles across all major social media platforms, or get involved with our Discord. There's an area in there called The Scoop. All we need from you is your URL plus your thoughts and impressions. We will then give you our thoughts and impressions on the very next show, which will be at what time on Monday, Mr. Graham Day?
The next show will be at 10 a.m. on Monday. 10 a.m.-ish. There's a big-ish there, big-ish. I didn't know whether Bibb was going to say ish. There's quite a bit of a disconnect then, so I kind of lingered for a second to see whether he would. But 10 a.m.-ish, as we do each and every single weekday. We try to go live around 10. Sometimes it's close to 11. Sometimes it's after 11. It just depends on what we do. We do work in the video games industry for a company called Jelly. We are ice cream, and that's where the name comes from. But we appreciate you guys showing up, whatever time of day it is. If you do want to know when we go live, as mentioned, all the social links in the chat will give you that. Or you can just drop a follow. It doesn't cost you a penny, and you get notified when we do go live. But we are not going to be live for very much longer now. We're going to finish up, we'll drop off, and we'll come back on with some State of Decay gameplay fun times. Yeah. Your podcast definitely has the best style. Absolutely love synthwave. Well, thank you very much. Yeah.
Thanking you.
But 10 a.m.-ish, as it says in the chat, for the next episode. For now, though, we will disappear. We'll see you back here in about 30 minutes for some State of Decay fun times. Until then, stay frosty.
Stay frosty.
Would have helped if I had the end slate ready, but now stay frosty.